Welcome to the world of Commodore Amiga. You now have the most popular home computer in New Zealand. As you learn how to use it, you'll have access to a tool which will work for you and enhance your creativity. We have put this video together to help you with that learning experience. Remember, the Commodore Amiga is only limited by your enthusiasm. I'll put our Amiga 500 pack down for a minute and introduce you to the rest of the Commodore range of computers. First of all, we have the Amiga 500 fully set up with the star color printer and the hard disk drive unit. Going up the Amiga range, we have the 2000 and the 2500. At the top of the Amiga range is the Amiga 3000 workstation. In this case, it is set up with the Citizen color printer, and over here we have it set with the Hewlett-Packard PaintJet printer. The business machine range starts at the top with a full 386 machine, the PC60. The PC50 is a 386SX machine, and then into our AT machines, first of all the PC40 and then the PC30. The last is the XT machines, the PC20 and the PC10. The Amiga has an advantage over other computers because of its custom chips. The Agnes chip looks after the graphics and animation. Denise controls the video output to the computer monitor. Paula takes care of the sound and looks after the serial port and the mouse. The Gary chip controls the disk drives and oversees the other three chips. When you have opened your pack, you should have a collection of components like this. In this case, we have the Amiga 1 meg starter pack. Your pack may be slightly different. In this case, we have the following books. The first two, the Amiga Enhancer software and the Amiga Basic Guide, I suggest you put aside until you are familiar with the basic learning. The second component is an envelope with the software that belongs to this pack and a manual which describes how to use it. We will move on to these later. The Introduction to the Amiga 500 book is your guide and will be the most useful book to start out with. You should have three other discs. First of all, the Amiga Workbench, secondly the Amiga Basic, and also a help disk. These we'll be using shortly. The next component is the 501 RAM expansion. To install the RAM expansion disk, we first have to open the door on the bottom with a key, take the RAM expansion unit, slide it in till it is firm, close the door, and now we can turn it back over the other way and proceed from there. At the back of your computer are the places to plug in all the components. The first port, joystick port 1, is for the mouse. The second, joystick port 2, is where your joystick plugs in. The third one has the two phono leads, which is the sound from your monitor. The next port is for a disk drive if you buy one later. The next port is the serial port, which would take a modem. Next one is the parallel port, which connects up with your printer. The power supply is the next one, and the last one is your main power lead for your monitor. On the back of the monitor are all the connections. The first two are our phono leads coming from the computer. Just along from them we have two small buttons. The first one should be in, the second one should be out. The next plug is the main plug going to the back of your computer. After that there is another small button, this one should be in. The next three are controls, much the same as on the back of your television set. The next is the main plug, which goes to your power supply. After that we have the on-off switch. You will find also on the side of the monitor is a headphone jack for those of you that want to keep the noise down and cut off the speakers. When you switch the machine on, you should get a screen that looks like this. Your disk is now ready to be inserted in the disk drive on the side of the machine. Just slide it in carefully
and push it home until it clicks. The green drive light will come on now and stay on until it is loaded. You should never remove a disk while the green light is on. When the Workbench screen appears, position your mouse pointer over the Workbench disk icon. Using the left mouse button, double-click on the disk icon and wait for the window to appear. You will be able to reposition the window by holding the left mouse button down and moving it. To see what is in any of the drawers, move the mouse pointer over the top of the drawer and double-click on the mouse button. The drawer will open to display its contents. To turn the drawer off, position the mouse pointer over the square at the top left of the window and press the left mouse button once. Notice the fuel gauge at the left of the window. It will show you how full the disk is. In this case, it is nearly full. Here you have the trash can. This is where you put files you don't want. For example, if you wish to dispose of the empty drawer, you merely pick it up with the pointer and move while holding the left mouse button down, dragging the drawer over the trash can icon and releasing the button. If this requester appears, you will need to unwrite protect your disk. After unwrite protecting your disk, reinsert it in the drive and you will notice that the empty window that you saw has now disappeared. If you position the mouse pointer over the trash can and double-click, you will notice that the empty drawer has been deposited in the trash can. It is not too late to save the drawer. We can drag it back out and put it where it used to be. If we really want to permanently erase material in the trash can, use the empty trash can option in the disk menu. Now turn the Workbench disk off. Disk copy procedure. With the disk in the drive that you wish to copy, click once on the disk to highlight it. Then, using the right mouse button, position the pointer at the top of the screen and select a menu. From the Workbench menu, select the command Duplicate and then release the right mouse button. From here, it is simply a matter of following the on-screen instructions. For example, put the source disk in drive 0, the drive on your computer. In this case, the Workbench disk you wish to copy is already in drive 0. Click on Continue. When the information has been read from the source disk, you should put in your destination disk. This should be a blank disk of good quality. Remove your Workbench and replace the blank disk in the drive. When that is done, click on Continue. Remember also to write protect your disk again, so it cannot be erased accidentally. The writing sequence will continue until completed. Then the computer will verify that it is all correct. The information window will disappear on the right-hand side of the screen and a new icon will appear. Copy of Workbench. Click on this once and move your pointer to the menu bar. Hold the right-hand button down and move the arrow down to Rename. Release the button. Remove the words Copy of with the Delete key. The orange cursor should end on the first letter of the word you want to keep. Press Return, which is the large key with the arrow on it. The copy of Workbench will now be renamed Workbench. Double-click on the Workbench icon again and open the Preferences drawer. This highlights a number of programs. Click on the Preferences icon again. The screen that appears is our Amiga control panel. At the top left-hand side, we can set the computer's clock. Look at section 5.1 in your Introduction to the Amiga 500 book for more details on this. At the bottom of the screen are the settings to change screen colours. There are 3 sliders for red, green and blue. Holding the left mouse button down adjusts the screen colours. If we want to return to the original default settings, click once on the Reset Colours option. This option sets a double-click time for the left mouse button. New users might find it easier to have the clicks wider spaced. Setting up for printing. Click with the left button the Change Printer option. A new screen will appear. Full detail of these settings is in Chapter 6.11 of your manual. We will check that it is set for a parallel printer, which the majority are. Leave the other settings as they are, but remember you can come back to them later. Click on OK and you will move back to the first screen. Click on Save if you want to keep these settings. Otherwise, they will be used until the computer is turned off. If they are not saved, the original settings will reappear next time you load the disk. We have now left the preferences and are back to the window, which we will close by clicking in the top left-hand corner. Open the Utilities drawer. You will find a variety of useful programs here. Move to Install Printer and double-click to open. A window and requester will appear. Take the Workbench out and replace it with the Extras disk. This will list the available printers. Your printer instructions will tell you which you need. Epson X has been chosen for this example. Type the information exactly as it is shown, except that you do not need to use capital letters. Then hit Return. Replace the Workbench disk as asked, and then swap disks as requested. Having 2 disk drives saves these extra changes. You will be told on screen that the printer information is being copied. When completed, press Return and you will be back to the Workbench. Close the Utilities drawer. Double-click on Preferences, then on Preferences again, where we will choose Save Printer. When we are in this option, we can locate our new printer driver. Highlight it, click on OK, and save the change. It will now be the choice every time we use the Workbench disk. You will have to repeat this process with the Workbench on your word processor and other programs. To format a blank disk so that your Amiga can read it, load Workbench, then put a new disk into your drive. The icon df0:bad will appear. Click on it once to highlight it. Use the right mouse button to pull the menu down and release on Initialize. The new requester will then take you through the process. Your computer will then sort your disk space into a format that the Amiga can use. You will see the tracks being numbered off as it proceeds until the 80 tracks have been formatted and checked. Now the disk is ready to use and has been given the name Empty. Click on this once to highlight it and go to the menu bar and use the right button to select Rename. Delete the word Empty by hitting the Delete key 5 times and then type in the name you want to give your disk and hit Return. This disk can now be used with your word processor. Insert the help disk and double-click on the icon. Read the instruction files by double-clicking with the left mouse button. Note, you also have a virus checker and information on viruses. In the Other Commands drawer, we have many useful commands which we will use later. The Miscellaneous drawer has more immediate useful information, like server centers, a history of Commodore, the Amiga itself, other programs available, printer information, and desktop publishing. Click on History of Commodore as an example. Press the space bar to move on through the text. The H key gives you a full help menu. Fusion Paint, an introduction to get you started. Insert the disk. Remember, if you have another program loaded, hold down the Control and both Amiga keys to reset your computer. Double-click on the icon and again on the Fusion icon and wait for the program to load. An option list will appear, which we will not change this time, so click on Start. Now is the time to select a color to draw with. Click on green with the left button and green will be displayed above the right-hand menu bar. Next, click on the Draw gadget and hold the left button down to draw. Click on the Box gadget and draw a box by holding the left button down and dragging it to the desired size. The Spray gadget makes an airbrush pattern on the screen. This requester allows us to change the shape of the brush. The right mouse button allows access to the menu options. Clearing the picture takes 2 steps. For an introduction to KindWords, insert the disk, soft boot with the Control and both Amiga keys all at once to clear another program, and load. Click on KindWords, wait until the screen appears, pull down this menu with the right mouse button, release on Open. The file we want is in floppy drive 0. Pull down the bar until the README file is shown. Click on it. It shows on the file line and then open. Highlight a part of the text by holding down the left mouse button and dragging downwards. Move the margin and indent buttons to demonstrate these functions. Now activate the single and double space gadgets. The remaining 4 gadgets set the text to right, left, center, and proportional spacing. Now to the menus. Use the right button, hold down and drag. First change the font. Now the style. The tick shows which option is being used. They are then turned off in the same way. Editing is the next function. Highlighted text can be cut out. The cursor then shifted and the text pasted back in again. The cursor will start a new line when the return key is pressed. Position the cursor to add a word. The cursor is used to locate, then highlight a word to be deleted. Position the cursor to make a space with the space bar. To check spelling, we will first make a mistake in the word warranty. Then highlight it. Choose Check Spelling from the Extra menu. Complete the various disk swaps to load. Load the dictionary. Change the disks and wait for the options screen. Select Selections. Check the options and select the one you want. It will replace the misspelled word. The Replace option will fix the word into your text. To check a word's meaning, highlight it, choose Thesaurus from the menu and release. Follow the requests for disk swaps. Remember, a second disk drive will eliminate these steps. Look at the various alternatives for the word. Choose a replacement and replace it in your text. When you have finished with the document, you can save the changes if you wish. You could use your Letters 1 disk at this point to start a work disk. I have covered some of the basic steps of word processing. Try the other options and refer to your manual to proceed further. To finish this introduction to the Amiga 500, here are a few points to remember in caring for your computer system. It should be positioned where it is in low humidity, constant temperatures, and away from sunlight. It should be on a stable platform where it does not get bumped. The vents should be kept clear so air circulates freely. Magnetic fields will affect the operation of the computer, so keep it away from TVs, speakers, and other appliances. The computer will also be affected by dust, dirt, and moisture. Keeping it clear of these problems will give you many years of enjoyment. However, should any problems arise, take your whole system to an authorized service center as listed on your help disk. Write down the name and phone number of your nearest service center in your telephone directory now. Thank you for buying a Commodore Amiga. Commodore wishes you many years of happy computing.